Welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole, the podcast. It's Friday night at midnight. It just turned midnight. I am on Instagram at Tere Joyce on Instagram. So I am waiting for perhaps who's going to be my first person to join me here tonight. So I'm kind of excited about that. Lot going on in the world right now. Most definitely. Well, I think I will take a moment to maybe plug some of my stuff, what's going on, where you can find me. I am on Instagram at Tere Joyce, and I am recording these shows before I'm going to be recording these shows, here on Instagram, and then I upload them to my podcast on Anchor, and you can also find me at Spotify and several other places. I should probably maybe even read. Hey, Priny Campbell, 1124. Thanks for coming here. This is my podcast on Instagram. I do a midnight Friday nights at midnight. So, and this is actually my 4th week doing this on Instagram. I also upload this to Anchor, and it goes to Spotify and different places. And I don't know, I'm on Facebook too, but I'm glad that you tuned in tonight. And, in the media, today in the media on YouTube, I saw, it's trending that Joe Biden fell on the airplane a couple times and recovered and then gave a salute. Honestly, I'm impressed for a clone. All right, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm sorry, too soon. Oh, you gave me the wave on that one, or you're waving back at me. All right, I just thought that was maybe just kind of a funny joke. I wanted to say something. Oh, you gave me a rose. Oh, thank you. That's very nice. Roses are good. So, yeah, poor Joe Biden. I hope he is okay. But seriously, if I'm pretty sure people probably, wanting to make fun of that, right? Oh, he fell down and, he's feeble. He can't be the president. But, the fact that he got up and was able to go, I'm okay. I'm going into the jet. I just thought that was kind of interesting. Great recover. It's always good when you fall down and then you're just able to kind of recover yourself like, yeah, I'm fine. So that's kind of in the news. Sort of kind of an intense week for me personally. It's been a busy week. How was your week? Pranny Campbell, 1124. I'm wondering if your week was good. I'm wondering how everybody's week was this week. It's well, okay. First of all, let me start here. I'm kind of I can't say I'm kind of a victim. I'm a victim of cyber harassment. Oh, you give me the prayer hands. That's very nice of you. Thank you. I'm thinking that you had a good week. Yeah, I'm kind of a victim of what you call cyber harassment. I don't know if you've ever experienced being cyber harassed before. I mean, it's there's laws against it really, but it seems like not a whole lot is done about it, really, during this last election in the United States, not the one that we had where Mr. Biden won. Mr. Biden, the most popular president to ever get as many votes ever, won the election. Stay home and stay safe. I am home. This is actually, I don't go anywhere actually. So hardly. I mean, except for perhaps talking on social media. Or yeah, but you stay home and stay safe too. It is important to stay home and stay safe. I'm not. I think that is important. And besides, I kind of like staying home. It's like, oh, you can't go anywhere. Oh well, fine. Although it would be nice to go out, maybe go dancing a little bit, sing some karaoke. I miss karaoke. So, but oh hi, hi Germinator. All right, you're here tonight. Hey, you missed my Biden joke though. But that's okay. I could repeat it, but then I'll put it. It's the same thing I wrote on Facebook. The whole thing about Joe Biden, falling down and then getting back up again and recovering and doing a salute. And I'm like, wow, I'm impressed. That's impressive, for a clone. And but bump. the whole clone thing. Yeah, hey, yeah. So you stayed up tonight. I'm feeling pretty good tonight, actually. Last night I was pretty worn out. I was saying that I had this week has been pretty intense for me. It really. There was my neighbor passed away on Wednesday morning, and so just so you guys know the kind of setup I have right now, this is actually an RV. I bought an RV, and I'm kind of I've got my little fuzzy pillow here, but I'm kind of redoing it, like I guess maybe I could show you here. Up there, right there, those are my solar lights. I'm gonna get some more. So what I do is I kind of hang those out and let the sun, light it up around here, and I got a couple candles going, and and I keep saying, yeah, I got a generator. I've got a solar generator that I haven't really hooked up yet, which I should probably do a video about that. Oh, you gave me the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. Yeah, and we had St. Patrick's Day, so that was that's like my favorite holiday. My two favorite holidays are St. Patrick's Day and Cinco de Mayo, okay? Because there's no stress to it. Like, you don't have to buy anybody a card or, worry about whether or not you didn't give them, you missed Mother's Day or something. It's like one of those days where it's like, yay, it's the luck of the Irish. And, of course, they both involve alcohol, too, so, which... I actually did not drink alcohol for St. Patrick's Day. I don't know. I was doing a show and I didn't want the alcohol energy. So, thank you. Bye. So, Pranny Campbell's, bye. Thanks for stopping in. Seriously, thank you. Okay, so I was talking about a few things. So, first of all, so I'm parked at a house that has 2 stories, and there's an Airbnb here, and lots of re-renovations going on. It's old property, and they built across the way. It was a garage, but they made another little guest house for the woman who owns the property. Her mother was 88 years old, and she did pass away on St. Patrick's Day morning. And I got to know her, even though she was here really, really briefly. I had amazing conversations with her. Her name was Tony, and she made arts and crafts, and had all these little teapots that she collected, and she sang in a country western band when she was growing up, and she was kind of very much lived in the neighborhood that I'm in right now. So I heard, she told me a lot about her kids and when they were growing up here, and how they like to sing, and she used to teach like home economics, also at the adult school over here, and just like she made little curtains and embroidered things, and I don't know. Sometimes when you meet somebody, they can be a kindred spirit to you, and it could be just like for a brief moment, but the exchange that you have with that person is really special, and I felt that way about her. And she was diabetic. And so there was a couple times where I know how to give insulin. So there's a couple of times where the people who were taking care of her couldn't give her insulin. So I, gave her insulin and a few times, and, made her some meals. And, if she liked the fish tacos, there's a fish taco place here, and I would go and get her fish tacos. And then she just failed real fast. It's just like one week I was talking to her, and the next week it was just like I get a phone call. First of all, I got a text at like 1:24 a.m. in the morning from a woman named Cindy, who knew Tony when she was a little girl. And she's been helping out, and her uncle lives here in the property. And anyways, and Tamas, who owns this place, and Cindy knew each other. Okay, so that's the background on it. But I got a text, and I was editing something. Sometimes when I edit and I work on things, I have tunnel vision. I don't pay attention to my phone and whatever. And then I went to bed, and then when I woke up, I saw that I had a text, and I called on Monday morning, and I said, "What happened? Do you need anything?" And she goes, "Yeah, well, Tony's on her last breath, and we were wondering if you would go in and be with her for a little while." And I said, because Jimmy was in there, he'd been in there all night, and I said, "Okay, sure, I'll go in." And I went in, I held her hand and talked to her, and she squeezed my hand really hard, and she shaked it around and everything. And I thought, well, do you want to listen to country western music? And then there's cameras in there because Tamas is in San Francisco and she can see her mom, and so she goes, "No, why don't you play the Christmas music?" So I played the Christmas music, and I don't know, maybe I was there with her alone for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And that was my last time with her. And everybody here just took shifts. The people with their family, they took shifts and everything. And then she passed at 8:30 on St. Patrick's Day. So that was, no, I'm just sharing it, I guess. I mean, the birth cycle of life, like, being born and the honor of being born, and then death, and then leaving this this existence. And it just kind of, there's just something really beautiful about it in a way, because it's like a celebration or a journey of a person's life. And it's just kind of interesting how you just might see somebody, like, I didn't know her, like I wasn't part of this community. I didn't grow up here. I met the people that I know right now over the last couple of years. But it's amazing how we can just kind of pass each other and kind of touch each other's lives for a brief moment and just kind of have these experiences. So anyway, I know I'm kind of trailing off on that particular topic, but I think it's worthy to share. And maybe if somebody listens to this podcast, I am talking about Tony. Her name used to be Tony Barron, but I don't know what her remarried name was. 88. That's a long time to live, really. I mean, I would only hope, because I thought about my age, like that's like another 30 years or more for me, right? I mean, it's like wow, to think about, like, what gets me about the people that live, like, when you read about biblical days and people in the Bible. I've been watching this I've been watching this YouTube channel called Trey Smith, and he does this great history of, like, the Bible and Hebrew and Noah and the flood, and he got into the book of Enoch and the Nephilim and the fallen angels and the guys with the big skulls. Like, if you start to look at stuff like we look at the drawings and everything, I'm like, that person wasn't totally human. They got the big skull coming out and everything. Like it makes you wonder, because it makes you wonder about the origination of man, because when you look at like the whole, Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal, everything, right? All the different, the evolution of man, like, from being down here to upright to like, ta-da! Like now we're these assholes walking around, right? Arguing with each other on social media and harassing each other and cyberbullying each other online and blah, 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 and making distasteful jokes. But, when you look at the evolution of man and you go, okay, well, Darwinism and remember like the movie 2001, like dun 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 dun, the whole monkey thing. But then you see these schools like King Tut, and King Tut has his big old long head and everything, and like big old eye sockets and everything, stuff, and you're like, all right, well, something else might be going on. And then they talk about the giants, right? The big giant people, and I'm thinking maybe there's something going on there, and maybe they were the fallen angels. I was thinking about Eve, right? I was thinking about Eve and the apple and everything, and it makes me like think about women, like, hey, bitch. Hey, you bit the apple and the rest of us are fucked. All right. There's just something about, I think, women too. It's like, when they talk about the fallen angels, they were like they go, oh, women, the human woman is so beautiful, and like the power and the mystique of a woman, and her hanging her. Well, I think I might just go ahead and take a bite out of that apple. And then the rest of us are fucked. Right. And what does that mean? Like the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, they go, oh, it couldn't just be just like one tree, like one apple tree. Was it like, did she screw the serpent? Like I'm thinking maybe she pulled up her dress and dropped her panties, like he went, oh, he's a rock star, and then she, lied down with him and bore this other, that like this other type of, there's a change happened. I'm just assuming she fucked him. Maybe she didn't fuck the serpent. I don't know. I should probably watch my language. But, I'm just like that whole thing about like the fallen angels and then the like the underworld and the interdimensional stuff and then the there's a theory. Okay, I don't know if you guys believe in UFOs or not. I don't know if Germinator, I think you're my only guy tonight. It's weird. I'm so glad you're here though, because, because last week when I started at midnight, I had I didn't have anybody for a while. Like, I was like, wow. Okay. So then I stopped and I started over again, and then boom, I had like 3 or 4 people. So I'm like, well, why is that? Why do I only have like 3 or 4 people, right? Why did I have nobody? And then boom, all of a sudden everybody, when I came back again, it was bizarre. But anyways, who cares? I'm just going to keep going. Because somebody's going to watch this afterwards if they're not here tonight. This is midnight, right? So sometimes I know I'm picking an odd hour, but, oh well. Okay, so let's get to the point here. I was going on. I'm first of all, I'm going to take a break, so we'll be right back with more Not My Rabbit Hole, the podcast. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back with more Not My Rabbit Hole, the podcast. I'm Tere Joyce, your host. By the way, this is just a satirical rant. All right, a stream of consciousness of me. On Not My Rabbit Hole. So whatever's coming in is what I'm going to be talking about. But there are things that I do have certain things planned that I do want to talk to you about. And one of the things that I started to talk about before Germinator, I saw you here. was cyber harassment online. And on my YouTube channel, I have been doing a series of live streams. I am on YouTube, so I'm Freedom of Joyce on YouTube, Tere Joyce. I've got a couple channels out there. I should get rid of the second one, but I've got Not My Rabbit Hole, so, please subscribe to me on my YouTube channel on Not My Rabbit Hole, because this footage will be uploaded to it as well. And also I upload other things to it. And then my website is notmyrabbithole.com, so I am doing articles, and I just recently finished an article about Shia LaBeouf and put together all of my material that I had on him. So please do check out that. And then I'm here on Instagram as well. Well, there's a certain type of media out there that I started watching or was interested in, and it's called it's targeted media. It's about targeted people, targeted individuals, targeted media. Well, the first thing, speaking of UFOs, okay, let's just go back to the UFO thing. I got interested in UFOs, right? Or what is there life on other planets and this and that. And then I started to watch certain people online, like Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot. They talk about secret space programs and this and that. And then there's also a Miles Johnston who has the Basis Project, which talks about, underground MyLab UFO things, blah, 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 blah. And then I got into this topic of these guys, and it's coined by Carrie Cassidy, but they call them super soldiers. But this involves MK Ultra mind control, which is a fact, happened in like the 1960s. And the military or the CIA using psychics as part of the military. And the closest thing to this, topic, there's a documentary called The Men Who Stare at Goats, which is about a man who was able to stop a goat's heart just by thinking about it. And then there was a movie that was made called The Men Who Stare at Goats that starred Jeff Bridges, and it has Kevin Spacey in it, and George Clooney, and Ewan McGregor. And it's about this a time in the military where they really did have this a group of people in the military that were working with psychics, and it's based on a true story. Okay, so. And the whole thing about spies and Jason Bourne and all of that kind of stuff, and then also I got interested. I know I always say I'm a little bit all over the place, so I just got to stop apologizing for that. I also got interested in a book called Weird Scenes in the Canyon by Dave McGowan. And in that book, he goes into or researches how the Laurel Canyon scene with Frank Zappa and the Mamas and the Papas and David Crosby and all that, and Jim Morrison and all those guys. They all came from the military. They were actually friends in the they were military kids. They knew each other before they actually were lived in Laurel Canyon. And they say that according to the book, the whole entire hippie movement and the clothing and everything was fabricated out of LA on Sunset Boulevard, like the whiskey or whatever. And that was created by the CIA. Like the military industrial complex is behind it. And then people, again, we're talking, this will fall into the conspiracy theory category for some people. Okay. Also the fact that Jim Morrison's dad was in the military, and he was part of the Tonkin incident, which created the Vietnam War. Okay. So, all right. Now, at the top of Laurel Canyon is an Air Force base. It was a real military Air Force base, and you had to have clearance, and Marilyn Monroe had clearance to it. And that is where they say the MK Ultra stuff, explorations and, was going on, and that when the movie Manchurian Candidate came out, they were like some of the experts from that were the script supervisors and movie supervisors or blah 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 blah. Okay, so that's just a little bit of a back history on some things, and then also just to tell you like how the reason I'm bringing it up is I'm talking about how the military is involved in psychic stuff, and how the military is also involved in show business. All right, so that being said, there is also an offshoot of people that believe that they are gang stalked and targeted, and that, you know, it involves a lot of electronic harassment, and it could also involve you know, cyber harassment. And there's a guy, all right, there's a guy named Max Spears. I didn't admit, now you know, some people that watch this will probably eventually, I lost Germinator, I think. You know, will probably eventually know what I'm talking about. But this guy Max Spears, that was the super soldier, right? Or they say that was a title that was given to him. After he had a mysterious death. All right, he had a very mysterious death. You can Google him, and you can find out. The BBC did a documentary on it. They called him a researcher. Oh, hi, Germinator. Yeah, you're still here. You're still listening. He had a mysterious death, and it was sensationalized. And I had interviewed him, and actually I'd interviewed him about the Laurel Canyon scene. Okay, and his father was a famous actor named Percy Herbert. All right, he was in the Bridge over River Kwai, and so he came from an acting family, and he grew up. From England. He grew up in Canterbury, or he's from Canterbury and the Kent area too, I think. But he was his classmate was Orlando Bloom. Okay, and so he talks about being in these special programs from being a kid, where you work psychic energies and things like this, and blah 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 blah. And you know, unfortunately, the UFO lady Carrie Cassidy called it super soldier, what makes it sound like it's a cartoon or something. But anyways, he had a mysterious death, and I have, and I get, and other people too have been continuously going back and looking into it and trying to put it together and figure out where's it really going on. I think somewhere in the media, I think this media knows something, and they've been covering it up. And I've showed examples of why I think that, because I'm a media person. I know the way of the media, because I've worked in the mainstream media. I've worked in a lot of different things, and I know how things get change, or they try to telegraph a story here and telegraph a story here. So anyways, I started out talking about stumbling onto or talking about cyber harassment, and so I'm going to finish with that, because I think this is a topic that is you can go way into it, but I'm going to try to simplify it for you right here, because it brings me here to Instagram. I became cyberbullied big time in 2016, after I had done a American Freedom Radio broadcast where I kind of spouted out kind of on the top of my head about what I think thought the media was doing, and how they were kind of like not reporting it right. And you know, at first it was like he was clean and sober and had no drugs and everything, and then it was like so and so gave him, you know, a prescription drugs, or no, they were herbal supplements. Oh, it was just an accident. Oh, it was blank blank blank. Like, these people are all like going off and off, back and forth at each other. And then I was looking at other hosts, like trying to depict, he was an addict. He did have a drug problem. He had been in rehab. That is true. But a lot of people that are MK Ultra trauma-based mind control victims or people who have trauma, or people who have been maybe sexually abused as a child or whatever, may tend to want to do drugs. And so he was actually going to do some research and talk about it, about how to help people who were in these kind of situations. And he got pulled into doing a conference away from Poland, and away from his home from England. And so a lot of things happen that that have a lot of question marks on it. And when I made this one video, I said something like, I was like, kind of like, what is he? Is he like, he's not an idiot. Like, he didn't, like, are you telling me he took me too much aspirin? Like, he didn't know, like, not to take enough aspirin, or what do you mean? Like what? He took too much Xanax, blah, 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 blah. And then what happened 2 years later, when they finally got a toxicology report, he had the Turkish form of Xanax in his bloodstream. Now, at that time, I had no idea. I was just, all over the place. That wasn't really determined as the cause of death, per se. But he also had pneumonia, and a side effect of it was pneumonia. And it really wasn't determined in the final. If you read The Guardian, it's not really determined, like, if it's an overdose or if it was actually pneumonia. It's a combination of all these things is how it makes you think. And the medication was given by a specific woman that it looks like everybody's just, trying to cover up, right? In their media or this or that. Or she's pissed off that they're investigating it or whatever. It's like, where did this come from, right? So after I did that, it was like one day my social media was just fine. And the next day, boom, I woke up and it was like I was being harassed on Facebook, and they were all saying the same thing. You hack, and you this, and you that, blah, blah, blah. I was being harassed on, Twitter and on Instagram. On Instagram, I even had the Communist Party come to me, send me a personal message, and say, and they said, what they go, you're a really horrible person. Like, the Communist Party on Instagram found me in private chat and said, you're a really horrible person. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of like getting a compliment from Satan. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so when you talk about cyberbullying and I have been cyber harassed so bad, okay? That's awful, isn't it? It is awful. It's totally, tell me, I've been through hell, dude. I can't even say. It's amazing that I'm still, sane, somewhat, talking to you. It was bad. I mean, and it's on YouTube. I had a YouTube video literally hacked by a group. I'm even afraid to say their name, but they harass people a lot. And they actually took a live stream that I deleted, copied it, uploaded it to their live stream, and then framed it like, "Hey kids, don't do drugs," because I was kind of angry in it, and so they want to make me look like I was a drug addict. And then when I did a video saying, I'm giving you 48 hours to take that down and not call me a drug addict, and another media host doing the same stuff, because I was investigating her, right? And then she goes, "Oh, you're just an addict." I go, "Really? Is that your answer? You don't have any answer for, blank, 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 because you're full of shit?" And she's like, "You're just, blah, blah." And they were using graphics of mine that belonged to like shows that I had done. That were photographed by the Getty image of people. I go, "You just can't use that photo. It doesn't even belong to you." So I threatened legal action. YouTube says if someone's doing blank, 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 or has your image, why don't you ask them to take it down first? And if they don't, then come to us. So I publicly asked them in this video. And they took that video. Well, I said a couple other things too in it, but they took that video, hacked it, and then and then inserted my deleted YouTube video that they stole. Do you see what I'm saying? I didn't get a phishing email. Like, I didn't get a phishing link and then click onto it and then have somebody take over my Google account. No, they actually went into an actual video, removed the one that I had put in it or uploaded to it, and inserted the one that I had deleted. The one that I deleted and they uploaded, they took that, and it was a major hack. I finally got YouTube to look into it, and they said, "Oh well, they're still working on it." Like they said they had to call in special tech people to research it to find out what's going on. Yeah, that's a true story too. And so is the story about the men who stare at goats. That's based on a true story too. And so is my cyber harassment. All right, I'm gonna take off now. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these only like to be around 30 minutes or so. And so Germinator XX, you're my favorite, and you're here almost all the time, and I really appreciate it. And so thank you for being here, and thank you for those who are watching this on my YouTube channel, or if you're watching this listening to this on Anchor or Spotify or Google Play. Thank you so much for listening. Please like and share. And if you want to contribute to me, I do have on my website, I got a donate button at notmyrabbithole.com. And I also have a PayPal at HollywoodHemptress, HEMPTRESS, at gmail.com. Take care and God bless. And good night, Germinator.